Five, four, three, two, one.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Arkosaurs Evolved. Here we take a look at the weird and wacky creatures in Ark Survival Evolved and compare them to their real-world counterparts. Sometimes the Ark versions are stranger, sometimes the Earth versions are stranger. And today, it's probably the Ark versions. But we do have something interesting.
Today we have a double feature.
Yes, we do. We've decided to group two very similar creatures because we have a lot to say about one and not a lot about the other. Which happens.
Yeah.
And I guess real quick, we should probably introduce ourselves, and we'll just do it nice and quick. I am Dr. Dino, not an actual doctor, doing field work out in Wyoming. I actually made a pretty big discovery yesterday that I've actually not told these two about yet. So
No, you haven't.
probably tell them later. That's me.
Mhm.
My name is Gojira. I am a master's student at the University of Bristol.
And with that shorter intro than normal, you get two of them. As my name is Dominic, or Dum, and my title is a lie, as I am now no longer an intern at a fellowship prep intern at Harvard. I'm currently looking for more internships. Don't worry, I'm probably returning to Harvard, but we'll see. Welcome to paleontology, folks. Early paleontology.
Yep. And together we are
The Boneheads!
the Boneheads. And today, we are talking about a creature with bones.
We are. Yes, we normally do that.
Startling thing. And unfortunately, they cannot land apparently, which I love.
I think they're correct, by the way. They have claws on the end of their wingtips, which is
Do
correct
they?
to the.
Won't- Let me see. Can I
I
freeze
can't.
time?
I can barely. They do. Oh god.
Yep. They,
Oh. Yeah,
oh,
they do.
I see them. Yep.
They
Yep.
do.
Here they are.
So.
Anyway, this is Onyconycteris, or the Onyc for short, one of the most cancerous monsters in Ark. And we've decided to tackle it first.
Ark early cave, funny.
Yeah, it's funny until you get a good rifle.
Yeah, no, I hate
A good shotgun.
these things are a. So early Ark, if you didn't know, before we got the Gigantopithecus and Doedicarus and all the new cool things, the new those are pretty old, like Megalania too. There was Base Ark, and Base Ark caves were garbage because caves were literally, instead of like being kind of what Ark caves are now, which are kind of cool, they were just tunnels filled with bats, spiders, and scorpions, and snakes. That's literally it.
I mean, that's still what a lot of them are.
Yeah. But at least now there's some...
At least now there's water, I guess.
Yeah, they look prettier.
Yeah.
They're not just pitch black abysses of death.
Maybe we'll find Nigeria in there.
Ew.
Uh,
It's the same level of Nadira. I was like, it's awful face. Look at it. Oh, it's disgusting.
it looks like it's
You-
meant to
ugh.
crush bone.
It
looks inbred.
It actually looks inbred. Yeah. Oh. So
I don't
everyone,
like its face.
this is a bat. If you couldn't tell. And bats are cool. If you didn't know, actually, I guess you know, flying creatures tend to be pretty diverse. You may have heard people say
Oh
that
wow, they take
pterosaurs.
human-sized poops.
We get to talk about guano too.
Oh yeah.
Yes. But flying creatures are pretty diverse. You may have heard rumors that pterosaurs were not diverse in the Cretaceous. This is a lie spread by Big Paleo.
Careful.
I can't be smited. I don't work for an institution currently. Um, yeah, but yes, no. Pterosaurs are really diverse. They're just made of paper, so they don't fossilize. For example, bats don't fossilize very well. We have very few fossil bats. Yet today, 20% of all mammals are bats. Those don't add up numbers-wise at all, so it's easy of the assumption that the things that fly and are made of paper tend to not fossilize great unless it's in a lake.
And keep in
And
mind that's taken into account anthropogenic extinction. So who knows? Maybe before humans came in,
oh yeah,
they may have had much more percentage of the biota.
I actually don't know. Bats don't do well in the cold, so
Sorry,
maybe.
I just realized these things have an elbow spike. They have 2 elbow spikes.
But
Oh boy.
why?
Why?
What does that do for you, sir? What do you have such a long? I guess I'm not Onyc. I'm not gonna pronounce his full name. Oh, its name means what? Bat claw. What's its name? I should know this. I literally just looked at it.
Claw. I think so. Bat claw.
Clawed bat. I know how smartness works. Clawed bat. And that's in reference to the fact that this is the possible. See, the animal this is based on is actually pretty cool. We don't have much information on it. It's pretty cool. It's probably the most primitive bat we've ever discovered. It's in the Eocene. Bats were probably one of the first mammals to diversify after the Cretaceous extinction. At least I'm under the assumption they probably were not. They probably did not make it past the KPG boundary. It was probably they exploded once pterosaurs and most birds died. If you didn't know, today's birds are actually. Oh, that's perfect. God, it looks like a You know what it looks like?
It
It
looks
looks like a cat skeleton. Like you find it at the store, like a
It
Target.
does.
That's what it looks like.
It looks
Oh,
like
a couple of its
yeah.
wing fingers are fused.
Yeah, it should have 5 fingers.
Why?
Why? Why are the top 2 fused? Why are they fused here too? What? Why are they fused? Why are they fused at the? They should be fused at the knuckle, not this.
Yeah.
I mean, on the bright side, the wing membrane goes to the legs, so
I guess that's
yeah.
cool.
I mean, it's a lot more believable than most big flying animals in media, where it's like to the chest or like the ribs.
Yeah, I guess.
And, you know, it is kind of an interesting topic, flying animals in media. Viewers, if
Mhm.
you've seen many dinosaur things, you've probably seen depictions of pterosaurs of varying quality. And you might have
Watch
seen
Prehistoric
some
Planet.
Prehistoric Planet's pretty good. And you might have seen some pterosaur depictions where they had multiple fingers running through their wings. They did not have this.
No.
And that's a topic that a really interesting topic in paleontology and just biology in general called convergent evolution.
Yes.
Or where
Yeah.
different lineages evolve similar traits for similar purposes. But they almost always go about doing it in different ways.
Usually.
Case in point, the 3 major groups of flying vertebrates, bats, birds, and pterosaurs, all evolved flight in different ways. And that's reflected in their wings.
I believe they're the only flying vertebrates, right? We don't have any evidence of anything else that learned how to fly.
Well, it kind of depends on where you place the line between flying and gliding.
I mean, there's
Powered
Ichi,
flight.
so.
Oh, yeah. Do we know if Ichi had powered flight? I'm going to check that because Ichi was also just added to Ark. Yeah, it looks not great. Ichi. Yes, it had powered flight and almost functions the same way normal bats do. So
So,
dinosaurs
yeah.
do it twice.
Flying dinosaurs.
At least twice.
Confirmed.
Actually, possibly 3 times, right? Because of Microraptor.
Possibly
I mean-
4 times if Rahonavis is an Unen logging.
Oh yeah, you're right. Dinosaurs
Wait.
do it often.
Dinosaurs
Wait,
do it a
does
lot.
Microraptor do powered flight?
Microraptor, yeah,
Yes.
Microraptor is powered flight, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, Microraptorines appear to have powered flight. Birds have powered flight. Iki has powered flight. And Rahonavis, if we understand what it eventually is, has powered flight. I can't wait for us to discover a late surviving Ceratosaurian or Ceratosaur in the Cretaceous that learned how to fly. I don't know how, but it just did.
just that meme
And it
of
just-
a Carnotaurus.
Yeah.
Or we find the prehistoric dragon from Dragons of Fantasy Made Real, and it was
That's-
real all along.
That's Yiki, but scaled up to 4 tons. That's what it is. It's Yiki
Maybe
scaled
2
up to 4
tons.
Yeah. Again,
Well,
yes, dragons were technically real, blah, 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 blah. Yiki, they're tiny, they look like little cockatrices. They're adorable, I love them.
but anyway, speaking of flight and wings, so all these flying animals tend to do similar things in the body. They get hollow bones, extremely hollow bones in the case of birds and bats, and well, all of them, I guess. Never mind, all of them do that. They tend to get large lungs or weird respiratory systems, seabirds, and they go about building their wings in different ways.
Mhm.
Birds have short limbs with long feathers. Pterosaurs have an absurdly long, what is it, third or fourth finger, right?
It's pinky. People
Yeah,
say
the
people
pinky.
call it pinky. So yeah,
Pinky! Pinky!
Well,
Because they don't have-
an absurdly long finger and then just a skin membrane of a wing. And then bats use their whole hand to
Yeah,
form a skin
which-
membrane.
allows them to actually, as the research, bats are probably the quote unquote best flyers. They're the most agile flyers, in birds and pterosaurs, they can't bend their wing. Birds definitely can't, because birds are mostly all feather, and pterosaurs only have one giant skin membrane, basically from like here to here, whereas bats, they're able to manipulate their hand. It's why they're able to curl themselves in. But it also means they can stop on a dime. They are very mobile in the air, and it helps them catch their favorite prey. Most of them, insects.
Indeed.
Depending on which group of bat you're talking about.
Most
I mean-
bats are insectivorous, from what I understand. Right?
Except the very
Both.
biggest, the flying foxes.
Most megabats aren't, from what I understand.
Yes,
We'll
which,
get to it.
if this thing was real, it'd be a mega bat.
It'd be a macro predator.
Yeah, be macro predator, but it's about this. It's a bit too tall, but from what I understand, it's about the size of the biggest flying foxes.
I thought flying foxes had a wingspan of about 5 to 6 feet.
Oh, is it? Oh wait, I can't
This
do
is
math.
like
Yes,
12.
this is 12. Yes, this would be the biggest creature ever. But yes, it's 6 feet. Megabats are funny. Yeah, most bats are insectivorous. The rest are either fruit or nectar eaters. There are some that do weird things. We'll get to that specific one later. But most bats are harmless, except for rabies. But
Oh, is that a segue?
it is a segue into rabies.
Yeah.
Yes.
The best kind of segue.
Alright, who wants to talk about the rabies segue?
For the few people that do not know, rabies is a virus that basically spreads through bites with infected saliva in a lot of mammalian carnivores, such as dogs, bats, cats, and what it typically does is it causes major encephalitis. And the way it works is that the time it takes to incubate kind of varies, but once symptoms start showing up, you're game over. It's game over. You're done.
It just
Like,
burns through your nervous system.
yes. Like, there's fever, there's confusion, convulsions, hydrophobia, which is very famous, vomiting, nausea, headache, and certain death. Like, I think there's a certain treatment of like.
Yes,
I know there was
has
one
less
treatment
than
of like
one. It has
symptoms.
less
Yeah.
than 1% survival rate.
Yes, and
Let me double check that actually, but
let me
go ahead.
Yeah, I'll check. And
No, I'll check. You keep talking about rabies.
And what's cool about rabies is, along with the fact that it's pretty much 100% fatal once you show symptoms, it's also the most, it's like a 0% mortality rate if you get the rabies shots in time. So, unlike a lot of other like viruses and illnesses where, like you have a varied percentage of like if you survive, if you die, stuff like that, this is very much like all or nothing. You either get the treatment or you die. There is no in between.
Okay, and it's about a 14% survival rate.
Oof.
You talk about what rabies does to your brain, because rabies does something very interesting to your brain. It makes
Yes.
you. Talk about it makes you hydrophobic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me sure, because I wasn't here. Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool. Viruses can do very weird stuff to your brain. There's a virus called the crazy cat lady virus. Actually, I'm gonna segue into that because it cats get it, mice get it. It makes mice sexually attracted to cat urine. Humans can get it. I had it at one point. It makes you like cats a lot, and it also makes you go literally insane and have massive anger issues. So it's partially the reason why. It's also, I think, more common in women. Or from what this is someone who's only heard it in vague notions of this, but it's why the crazy cat lady stereotype is mostly a crazy cat lady, because it's usually an old woman who has this virus who keeps getting cats because her brain's telling her to get more cats. It's also why they tend to live in filth, because she wants to smell the cat urine. Viruses can do weird stuff to your brain.
Yes. And there's two types of rabies. There's furious rabies, which is basically the one you see in media all the time of like hyperactive aggression, hallucinations, foaming at the mouth, and
Polio.
paralytic or dumb rabies, which is basically paralysis and coma, which either way, that's a fate worse than death.
Dumb rabies I always find more scarier than feral rabies, because dumb rabies
because you never know when they're gonna snap.
Well,
and
the issue with other dumb rabies, though, I heard stories of people getting dumb rabies and still being treatable, but going into basically full paralysis shock. They can't move. It's a living death. You sit there, can't move, can't talk, can't eat, just powerless. If you're lucky, you're able to move your eyes. If you're lucky.
Yes. And rabies it's like a very popular virus to have in media.
Mm-hmm.
Like two big examples are Gormagala in Monster Hunter, where the frenzy virus is basically monster rabies.
It's
sense. And if you know the show Primal, the Mad Sauropod episode, that's basically like it's an amalgamation of different lysoviruses and stuff, but a lot of the symptoms do match rabies. First, like dumb rabies, and then like furious rabies. The keyword being furious. It is just it's terrifying.
It's awful.
And like I kind of mentioned a moment ago, also just the classic movie Old Yeller, which
I
loved and hated it as a kid.
I love Cujo. That's another one.
Cujo's a good one.
He was my dog. I'll do it.
Yeah,
go watch Old
very
Yeller.
cinematic.
Go watch Cujo.
So good. It is such a good movie.
Go watch them, please. They're good.
That and Cujo.
We're not
That's-
even.
And getting back off the tangent, this is
Yes.
this is relevant to bats because
Yeah.
bats are very good at transmitting rabies because they fly.
Also, aren't most bats asymptomatic with rabies? From what I understand.
I think.
So it's hard to tell if a bat has rabies.
Let me check.
I think this is true. Yes. Brat.
Yes, they're
yeah,
asymptomatic.
yeah, they're asymptomatic. So, unlike most other things with rabies, like when you get raccoons, opossums, foxes, dogs, where you pretty much know where most of the time you'll know if they had rabies. Again, you should get it checked regardless, but most of the time you'll know. Like opossums or raccoons being out during the day, foxes not
Oh.
running away when you get close.
Yeah,
Coyotes attacking.
Yeah.
let's turn this into a real quick PSA. If
Yeah.
a wild animal seems weirdly friendly,
Don't
get
Do
close.
not touch it.
stop.
Like, don't pet
If-
it.
Especially if it just sits there and stares at you and it has its mouth open.
No.
And
Yeah.
if it's
No.
foaming at the mouth.
Well, foaming at the mouth. Yeah, but
Well, that's
And-
the obvious one, but there are less obvious symptoms.
But again, dumb rabies, for example, what we said of just sitting and staring at you. Just acting
Sometimes
dumb.
animals will also start walking like they're drunk, especially towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's awful. Yeah, but
It
bats
is
are
horrendous.
asymptomatic, and I don't think bats actually have to bite you to spread it. From what I understand, because bats
I mean-
they can transfer it over their sweat, and because bats are tiny, if you grab a bat, you're gonna touch. Also, bats pee on themselves.
Mm.
So if you touch a bat or something that the bat has touched, you could get rabies. Yeah. Bats they seem to be immune to it. I haven't heard of many bats dying from rabies, which might have interesting connotations since they're are they proper carnivorans? No, right?
No.
No, they're not.
But that could be a segue
Into phylogeny.
phylogeny.
I'll take it because bats are very easy. Bats are mammals. Bats are a type of mammals, often referred to as the scrotum bearers, aka placental mammals. And then you get to bats, and that's it. They might also, it literally goes placental mammal, bat. Ta-da! If we want to go specifically into this bat, placental mammal, bat, this.
AKA Chiroptera.
Yes, Chiroptera.
Or what is that? Hand wing or
Hand wing.
finger wing?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hand wing.
And this is, for this bat specifically, it's Onyconycteridae.
Which only has one species, which is this.
Or one genus.
If
Yes,
do you want to spoil the next phylogeny because it's also pretty easy?
Sure, why not?
let's hold that for the next creature.
Okay.
Maybe we can talk a bit maybe I could talk a bit about where this guy is from because it is
I
an
thought you-
interesting rock
I
formation.
thought you were going to ask where bats are from, and I was going to answer. That's a trick question. 'Cause
We don't
Bats
really
are-
know.
well, yeah, we don't. Because bats appear very early and they're very hard to fossilize. And also, native bats are everywhere. Bats are in every continent, but Antarctica. They don't pass the Arctic Circle either, which has some interesting connotations. For the Ice Age, about this might be the most specious bats of all time is today. It's a theory that some people have had, and I have it myself. Bats are most common today versus any other time because right after the Ice Age. Ooh.
Well, at any rate, Onyconycteris. Wow, I cannot remember this thing's full name. Onyconycteris Onyconectaris,
Onyconectaris.
Onyconectaris.
is a fairly small bat from the Green River Formation, which is a group of Eocene rocks about 50 million years old in the western US. The Green River Formation appears to be from a giant lake that occurred in the area for a very long time. And as with some other giant lakes, it tended to get very calm at the bottom, very placid. So, if things fell to the bottom after they died, they would usually get preserved in beautiful detail. If you just search Green River Formation on Google, it's mind-blowing.
If you want a better example of what he's talking about, look up Yishan, the Yishan Formation. That is also, I believe it's the same depositional environment, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Is it the Yishan? Or no, it's the J-hole biota. Not Yishan.
Or
J-hole
if you're looking for a more famous Eocene mammalian formation for a similar environment, look at the Messel Formation in Germany.
Yes. Oh, God. Is that where Leptectidium's from?
Yes. Let
Yeah.
me double check. Yep,
Um,
Leptectidium. Not Ambulocetus though, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that in a few
Well-
episodes of our other series that I don't know if it's come out by this point. We'll see.
We'll see. But with the Green River Formation, particularly, that's where you find Wyoming state fossil, the fish Nidia. You can see cycads and palms preserved perfectly, crocodiles, birds, and bats, including our dear Onyc here. Although, of course, the real thing was probably about the size of this thing's head.
It's a tiny thing. It's... Bats appear to have a size maximum of today's megabats. Mind you, the fossil record is incomplete, especially when it comes to flying animals, but I would assume they can't get much bigger, as the reason why birds and pterosaurs get bigger is due to how they breathe. Now, while bats do have an amazing respiratory system for mammals, it is nothing compared to what Arkosaurs do, so they probably at a size maximum of about yay big for wingspan. You can't actually see it. But yeah. But which, mind you, is still massive. A flying fox is like this tall still. Like a foot tall. But yeah. So we just figure out their respiratory system for a bit, which from what I understand, they have massive lungs that are very efficient.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. Which also helps them be very light, because when most of your body is a giant sack of air, that tends to be very light.
Jeez, is there much else to talk about with this thing?
No. It's the most basal bat that exists and has some unique things with echolocation, I guess. We can talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
As in, did it have echolocation?
Yes,
well,
we also talk about echolocation in general. Since
yes.
this is the only like land creature that uses echolocation, right? Ever? They have the fossil record?
Yeah, bats, yeah.
Well,
Should
humans
I talk
can.
about...
That's a one-time thing.
I think more than one time. But there's at
Humans-
least one case of a blind person learning to use echolocation.
Yes. There's
Yes.
this isn't a Daredevil joke. There are I've heard of a few. Mind
No,
you, I have a
there
few.
actually are people who can do this.
Now, from what I understand, that's probably just because it's most people have been born blind or blind from a very young age, right? It wasn't people who were like 40 and became blind.
That I'm not sure.
So it's people. So it's a pseudo echolocation. It's not proper echolocation, from what I understand. It functions similarly, but People don't. Bats are able to, when they echolocate, get a perfect picture of everything around them. Whereas the humans thing, it is a general, like, there's something in the way. Whereas bats would be able to tell the exact shape and size of it.
Yes,
When they
and bats have like very specialized adaptations to help their echolocation, such as most notably the enlarged cochlea in their ears,
Mhm.
and for Onyconycterus in particular, there was a paper by, let's see,
I think it was one was named.
yeah, Nancy B. Simmons et al. In 2008, and basically what it says is Onyconycterus lacks the enlarged cochlea that we see in a lot of echolocating bats. So TLDR from this bat, we believe that they could clearly fly, like flight first, and then they developed echolocation.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, and their cochlea in Onyconycterus more closely resemble that of modern fruit bats.
Yeah. Which are not great echolocators, but that's because they're also not nocturnal. And
Yeah.
bats use echolocation to hunt bugs. And, fun fact, it'd be great if we get Lymantra after this, because Lymantra... Moths, there are types of moths that do very interesting things to detect echolocation. There are some moths that have antennae that are able to detect the clicks that bats make, which you can hear. If you're quiet enough at night and have bats, you can hear their clicks. Quite cute. I believe they're able to do something with their wings. They're able to make them almost invisible to bats' echolocation.
It's their fur.
Their fur, okay.
Yeah, think of echolocation as like a big jet radar, and the way moths
Some
like
moths.
avoid it, some moths, think of it kind of like a cloaking device, basically.
Yeah. It bounces off weirdly, but yeah. Bats are fun. If you've ever seen bats fly around, they fly very differently compared to birds. I've been lucky enough that I've had bats living around my house since I was very young. They're very erratic when they fly.
Yeah, they're very agile.
It's very fun to watch. But yeah, I think that's about it with this disgusting creature. Do we want to rank it first before we get to the good one?
Yes.
I think we should.
Maybe one last thing. On the note of bats flying around people, if you own a home or know someone who does, encourage them to get a bat box.
Yes, I want to.
Because bats are always great to have around. They will annihilate the local mosquito population.
Oh, yes!
Yes.
They
like
love mosquitoes.
nothing else.
They love mosquitoes.
Like,
something we desperately
one
need.
bat will hunt thousands of mosquitoes in a night.
No, yeah.
That's not an exaggeration.
I don't have mosquitoes around my house. I have gnats, but they come out during dusk. They are never out during night. That's because we have a local bat population in our forest. So, yeah, we don't have many mosquitoes out, ever.
Yeah, and bat boxes are cheap, easy to put up, and they
Easy
help
to
the bats,
build.
and they help you, if everyone wins.
Yeah. Bats are always nice, and unlike other pest killers, a lot of people like bats. At least today, a lot of people think bats are cute, which I agree with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bats have been a symbol of... We'll get to what bats have been a symbol of, actually. We'll get to the next creature.
When we get to the good one.
Here, Dom, how about you?
Pull up the tier list?
Well, Well, here, I guess we'll keep this on screen while we actually rank it. Who wants to go first?
You go first. You've gone first a while.
Yeah, you're the leader.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I like bats, but
It feels like a bulldog, not a bat.
yeah, it's ugly. The rabies is awful to deal with, and yeah, I don't know. They're annoying, and I enjoy sniping them with a powerful rifle when I go through the caves.
There's so many
That's
of
the
them in
most
caves.
enjoyment I get out of this creature.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a D.
I'm gonna be, for once, a little nicer than that because I do have. There are some things about this design I do like, mainly the wings, because the way the wings are. Yeah, the fused long fingers are really ugly, but the way the wing membrane is shaped is fairly reasonable for a creature of this size because it would need like super like big wing membranes to support that weight. And I do like
You're
honestly,
having trouble.
mainly the wings. But yeah, it's just kind of an ugly design, but I don't hate it. It could have been a lot worse, like because if it weren't for the face, it would be okay for me, but the face really kills it. It's ugly. So I'm gonna have to give it a C.
Okay.
I would rate this thing higher if the other creature that we're reviewing today didn't exist. But it does, and this is ugly. This doesn't. It gives an early game mob of a bat. Like you walk into your first dungeon in a video game, and the bats are flying around, and you fight the bat enemy. That's what it gives, and I don't like that.
Oh,
You can do very-
like a D&D monster, but not in a good way?
Yes, very much so. The next thing's a D&D monster in a great way. This thing, it's D, F. Yeah, I'll say D. I won't be that mean.
Yeah.
There's a different cave creature I have to give F to.
Oh, So-
yeah.
that makes it a high D, I
Yeah.
think.
Where'd my things go? Wait, what?
I don't know, but I think you need to get ad block.
Shut up! For some reason, my file didn't. Wait, it did. But my image is good. Okay then. First, just matter. Anyways, sorry, I was a bit confused for a second. Ignore me. Onyc.
Oh, the otter has a little top hat. I love that.
It does. It's great. High D. Technically puts it above Nigeria.
Yeah, but
But-
it's an actual creature.
Yes. And Noglin being the. Should we move Noglin to F tier?
not
I don't
that
think
bad.
it's that
It
bad.
has some
Okay.
personality.
Okay. But yeah. Then we get to the next creature, which I actually have a. We'll get to what my opinions on it are next. But
Yes.
the next creature. God,
Let's see.
I love it.
I need to
Kill?
unfreeze time.
And kill the Onyc.
Do it.
Fine, let me give myself a shotgun.
I love this. This is how you do a bat monster. If you haven't already guessed what we're reviewing, that's a secret. But if you played Ark, you know what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The return of the shotgun.
He was my bad. I'll do it.
Wow, that barely did anything. What is your health?
It's
Jesus,
a lot.
that's a healthy bat.
This is basically what criminals think Batman was like. Like when he first appeared.
It's going to eat. There, you know what?
Have fun, buddy.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
fate it deserves.
Let it drown.
Shall we leave the cave, perhaps?
Yes.
Yes.
Because the type of bat we're covering next is much more terrestrial.
Oh,
So
God.
blinding light.
Natural
Roll
light.
light!
Also, I didn't
Okay.
realize I could go into presentation view.
Whoa, okay.
Yes.
We have...
Oh, it's so
Oh, no,
good.
spoilers.
That
we
is
have-
really good.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
that's a segue, an unintentional one.
Yeah.
Look how
Oh.
pretty it is. It's not as big as I thought it was.
I like that the first one had ooh, that's just blood red wings.
It's ruby red rings.
That's just
This
Dracula.
is Desmodus. Desmodus, right? It's not Desmodius.
Yes, Desmodus.
Desmodus, specifically, this is Desmodus Draculae, which is a real creature that existed. It is the giant vampire bat. Now, when I say giant,
Moves around so much. It's
it
great.
looks so nice. It has its proper leaf nose too.
So cool.
This is
Looks
how you.
so alive.
Yeah. This is also an example of Ark mammals are done amazingly, whereas Ark dinosaurs aren't. But yeah, this is Desmodus Draculae. It is. What does it mean? And what does Desmodus actually mean?
Desmodus. Let's see.
Desmodus, because it means Dracula. The other bit.
Is it just the genus name for
Vampire bats, yes.
vampire bats?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Also, it has a saddle, which actually looks pretty freaking good.
Oh, that looks so cool! I like how it connects to the wings.
And it has blood bags.
Oh! I love this thing so much.
Speaking of vampires and blood,
Yeah.
you think it's Morbin time with these?
Shoot you. Oh, it's Desmodus means tooth bundle. So this is Dracula's tooth bundle.
Okay.
Now I'm just imagining, what would the tooth area of Dracula be like?
Dear.
Oh, that's right. Its feet's backwards double. Because this bat doesn't hang upside down, it walks.
Yeah.
That's why its feet
And,
are like that.
And really quick, this is kind of going a bit into in-game stuff, but this is one of the few animals in the game that can fly in 3D.
It should, because bats can do that.
Yes.
Now go bully that bird.
You go eat it.
I plan to.
But yes, this is Desmodus Draculae. This is one of the newest creatures added in Ark. It follows suits with its other three, with two of the three creatures on its map, of being amazing and the best creature, some of the best creatures in the game. Shares that title with Andrew Sarkis. Oh no, that cat! It will eat you.
I might try.
No, it's too preoccupied drowning. But yeah, this is the giant vampire bat. It's about, in real life, it's about 30% bigger than vampire bats. So instead of an inch long, it's an inch and a half long. Look how it walks. It stalks.
It's so good.
Murder. But yes, you can't tell already by our smiles and laughter. This is the true creature that we're reviewing today. And God, is it a
the
good
much
one.
better creature.
It's a bat!
Much better.
It feels like a bat. Like an evil death bat, which is what it should be. There's others now.
It's a vampire bat.
Yeah, you may have heard me mention that most bats are insectivorous or herbivores. Some aren't. And this is the prime example. This is a vampire bat. Vampire bats get their name from their awful habit of sneaking into barns or houses and biting a hole in your neck and drinking your blood.
Well, more often like your ankle, but yes.
Yes, biting a hole and drinking your blood. They're also the most common givers of rabies. I believe they're also immune to it because they're actually biting you. But otherwise, they're pretty harmless. They have an anticoagulant in their saliva, like most bloodsuckers, like mosquitoes and such. But from what I understand,
also a painkiller, I think.
Yeah, from what I understand, they're pretty harmless if we ignore the rabies bit. Yeah. Let me grab up vampire bats because
They're also, unlike most bats, pretty good at walking on land. In fact, they're actually really quick.
They are.
Now this
I love
one's a
its
bit
name.
slower than your average vampire bat. Your average vampire bat actually has a lot of hops when it walks.
I also
Um,
do you know
Yeah,
the
it
common
looks
name?
adorable.
Do you know the scientific name of the common vampire bat?
What?
I do not.
Desmodus rotundus.
Rotundus.
It's rotundus. That's amazing.
I love binomial names sometimes.
Oh, I just realized. So Rotundus is the correct one. The other two vampire bats are not Desmodus.
Oh,
They're not. They are the hairy-legged vampire bat, which is Diphyliae or Diphylia equidata, which I'm assuming means something, and the white-winged vampire bat, which is Diamus youngi. Actually, from looks like the picture, the most common vampire bat we see is the white-winged. The common vampire bat is the one with the big nose and the funny face. Also,
The cute little face.
apparently vampire bats are very adorable and nice to each other. They communally groom.
they
live
share blood.
They do.
Yeah.
They live in little like huddles that are adorable. Like other leaf nose bats actually. This is a leaf nose bats thing. They don't have much genetic kinship, but 95% of food sharing is that's all. Jesus Christ. That's insane. They make friends.
Aw.
Oh, this is adorable for being an evil creature.
As is often the case.
Yeah. Yeah, it appears that vampire bats, they carry rabies for a lot longer. They're immune to it. They're asymptomatic. They can breed. Um, other, actually, it appears that, although most bats do not have rabies, those that do are clumsy or unable to fly. Which is why vampire bats are most commonly associated with it, one, because they bite, and two, vampire bats don't fly very much. So, I guess they're fully asymptomatic.
Oh.
But yeah.
Also, I'm just gonna gather some blood packs for no discernible reason. Oh, somehow an Onyc got out here.
It'll help you. Also,
It's
vampire bats do something else. They can help stroke victims.
Real? Oh, because the anticoagulant?
Yeah, it's been known that specifically Desmodus specifically is anticoagulant, probably because Desmodus specifically targets mammals, and as a mammal, it really helps stroke victims. So,
that's cool.
they're pretty helpful.
Like medicinal leeches, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's called a drug called Desmodoplaise. It's a proper drug made from their
Ooh,
saliva.
big blood bag.
Nom 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 nom. Yeah, oh, that's adorable.
Yeah.
Sorry, so, if you didn't know, so the more I'm reading about vampire bats, the more I'm sad they're evil death gremlins. So yeah, male bats tend to guard roosting sites. Female bats have one kid. Have one pregnancy. Of a gestation period of 7 months? What?
Really? That doesn't sound right.
That's very long. Yeah,
Especially for a
gestation period
tiny
is
mammal.
about 7 months. Young are raised primarily by females. Mothers leave the young to hunt and call the young to feed upon returning. The young accompany their mothers to hunt at 6 months old, but are not fully weaned until 9 months. They remain with their
Wow.
mother until adulthood, or unless the mothers die.
That's a weirdly long everything for such a small mammal.
That's weirdly... I think that might be common in most bats, though. From what I hear, most bats are really good parents.
Yeah. I mean, most mammals are good parents, so.
Rodents are. Good parents good to other
Well,
things, but like rodents and rabbits aren't
well,
good.
keyword being most mammals.
Yeah, but like that's really nice and long.
Huh.
Like 7-month pregnancy for a
Yeah.
tiny little thing.
Hmm.
Huh.
Ooh,
See, yeah. Um,
speaking.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
kill it.
Ooh,
Help your bat friends.
help your brethren.
I think they're gonna kill it before I get there.
Yeah. It's level 81 Rex. The fuck.
So, speaking of
Oh no, it was
rotundus,
level 8.
I was late.
shall we discuss vampire bat phylogeny?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So,
Oh wow, everything's
so
just gonna
we
pick
already
a fight, I
talked
guess.
about Chiroptera, which is basically the scientific term for bat. Now, Desmodus specifically, it's in the family Phyllostomidae, which includes New World leaf-nosed bats,
You.
so stuff from southern North America and South America, specifically the southwest US to northern Argentina, and they're very ecologically varied. Now, in that family, we have the genus Desmodus, and in that we have Desmodus draculae.
Our boy. Now, I realize we haven't been actually reading. We didn't read the Onyx. I forgot they can do this.
Yep, they can hang.
Yeah.
Yep.
We didn't read Onyx's dossier, but as I'm going to force Doc to input, I don't care, and insert Jeremy Clarkson going, oh no. Anyways. But this thing's dossier we will read because it's cool and unique, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So let me
who-
pop.
You're so gung-ho about it. Do you want to
Oh, I
tackle
love
it?
this thing. Yes.
Also, I love that when it detaches from the wall, it falls. Good,
Yeah.
that's what bats do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, this is a
No.
good bat. This is a really good bat.
Now, while he pulls up the dossier, in terms of popular culture or just culture in general, there is a bit of a fun fact with Desmodus draculae. It is thought that it may have been an inspiration for the Mayan bat god Camazotz.
Maybe.
Hmm.
That might just.
It's
I
also
would
known
predict,
for picking up scorpions.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
I have
and they
that.
could have. Yeah,
I want to fight
they-
now between a scorpion and a bat.
and they
In
may
real
have
life.
also inspired legends for the Mura people, in the central and eastern parts of the Amazon and Brazil, about the, forgive me for butchering the pronunciation, the Kaorira, the cow, the Kaora, basically a blood-eating bat the size of a vulture. So,
Interesting. I have it up
Entirely possible.
but
Oh, we should probably talk about how this thing was recent.
oh yeah, like 16th century.
yeah.
17th century.
Yeah. Mind you, it wasn't this big, but dossier time. Even with all
Okay.
the other monstrosities around here, this fugitive from a creature double feature deserves top billing. I mean, Dracula's right there in its species name. The Desmodus has a
Yeah.
shriek that'll scare just about anything out of its way. It's also shrewd enough to limit itself to victims that it will carry off into the night. Although I'm not superstitious enough to advise stocking up on garlic and steaks before you decide to track down Desmodus for yourself, I'd still advise you hunt these horrors out in the light and away from their caves. They seem uniquely adept at flying and hiding in the dark, narrow spaces. Taming one of these beasties lets you add its eerie abilities to your arsenal. Use their unsettling scream to scatter your enemies. Command Desmodus to snatch up small prey for you. Let its uncanny power to vanish into the darkness become your personal stealth mode. Desmodus has Blood Thinner in Saliva, which drains play of more blood than this vampire could ever digest. You if you can stomach the excess blood and drained meat your vampire pet leaves behind, you might be open-minded enough to appreciate another one of its unholy gifts, a sanguine elixir that helps enthrall the most stubborn of beasts.
So it has a lot going for it.
That's a cool dossier too. I haven't heard a dossier like that interesting.
That's really cool.
It's a nice dossier. Scream. Oh, you might want to turn it to nighttime to show its other abilities.
Oh, do they only activate at night?
Their stealth ability, yeah.
Ah, I didn't know that. Let me send time.
For mentioning their stealth ability is only night. If I'm going to pull up quickly their trailer, because their trailer will show me if they can. We are professionals here.
Very much so.
Oh,
Is it also Desmodus, one of the first creatures that won the Arks creature vote? What understands?
I mean, maybe. Was it a modded creature?
What I mean is, I think it was one of the Ark does creature votes where you give Ark a dossier of your choice.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oops.
You can't. Guys, this is a great video. Don't you agree, everyone?
There we go.
Oh! Here they come.
It's Batman!
Where's the one with this? There's the one with the saddle.
Yeah, you can go invisible at night.
Okay, what's the...
I will look up. Do you know how to do the scream as well?
I have no idea. I've only
Okay.
tamed these once.
How to go invisible.
We are professionals.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mind you, these guys have actually played Ark for more than 5 minutes.
I haven't played since Uranus came out. He plays it currently.
I haven't for a bit. Well, that said, I am getting... Well, I was about to say I'm getting much better frame rate than I have been, and then it crapped on me.
Desmodus all controls. You can't hear that YouTube video, right?
You're actually watching a video tutorial.
Yes.
Wow.
It's 2 minutes. Thank you.
2 minutes too many.
Oh yeah, your scream.
Alright.
I hope you know I'm gonna leave this in unedited. I'm gonna let
Do you play on
bask in
controller?
your shame.
I'm aware.
No.
Do you play?
Alright, let me pull it up. Let me do it the old-fashioned way.
Why would I play with a controller?
For some reason, why are you giving me the control specifically controller?
Alright, so yeah, space is the wall. Hold the left mouse button to trigger the echolocation ability.
Ooh.
And hold the right mouse button to go invisible.
It's becoming daytime. There you go.
Oh.
Flash of red is cool.
See how quick and efficient that was?
My internet didn't tell me anything. Yeah.
Oh, hey, look, it's showing me that there's blood.
It pings, yeah. Oh no, it stunned it. Did it? Wait, can you scream properly to stun things? So that's what the dossier said. So no, you cannot. The dossier lies to me. But no,
I mean, that might have just gotten reworked into the echolocation.
Probably. Yeah, yep, that seems to do it. Maybe. Oh, you need stamina.
Oh, it uses stamina.
I'd assume it does. But yeah, this does what Ark does best. is when you add a creature that has a unique play style. It's not like we'll get to things like Shadowmane eventually, but it's not just an amazing creature that why don't you tame it? It's good at everything. It has a niche. It's good at what it does. But it's not like, oh, this is going to invalidate other tames. Because it doesn't invalidate other flying tames, really.
I might fight you on that.
Well, what I
love
mean is
flying
like
with this thing.
Well, what I mean is like a Tapejara or an Ornithokairis could still work, or like a.
Are you sure? This feels better than a Tapejara.
Oh, okay, never mind. But it's not.
And it can pick up things like an RG.
It's not overpowered. It feels cool.
It feels reasonable.
It feels reasonable. It doesn't have like any like. It can't breathe fire. The invisible thing is a cool touch of like it doing Dracula things. That's awesome. Look at that.
It's literally the Predator.
It's so cool. So yeah, do you have anything else to talk about with Vampire Bat specifically? Or are we just going to spend another 20 minutes gushing about how the cool this thing is?
I mean, I guess we already kind of talked about, do we think if it's possible for a bat to get this size?
No.
No. Not with their current
Realistically, no.
physiology, at least.
No. Maybe in the
No.
future. Oh, we were going to talk about
Oh
something
yeah, a
maybe.
future predator, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. I want to tackle Future Predator if you want to tackle Futures Wild. Gojira.
Sure.
Yeah. So, there are some bats in media that are shown to be this big, two in particular. One you've probably seen if you follow any sort of dinosaur media, which is the Future Predator from Primeval.
Which, I
it's-
don't know about you, but that freaked me out when I was a kid.
Yes, it's horrifying. It's actually
It is.
about this size, by the way. It's about this size
Oh yeah,
exactly.
it is.
So I thought Desmodus was bigger. It's a hypothetical idea of what if humans went extinct and most land predators went extinct. So a bat species became completely blind and became a land predator of weird proportions. It only has 2 fingers that it walks on, as its wing has become small, and it basically hunts via echolocation. And it's really good at stealth, because it's fat. But that's about it. It's fast, but it's not... Until we get to the later seasons, the Future Predator is actually a pretty good speculative idea of how to turn a bat into a super predator. And even...
In fact, I would argue it's a great example of that series at its best.
It is, yes.
Yeah.
Well, I like Primeval a lot. I think...
Yeah. Like, I like the first 2 seasons.
Third
The
season
rest
I
is
liked.
kind of Like, it really falls apart when Cutter dies.
Yeah. It
And
Oh,
does.
we have another attacker. Oh dear.
Murder.
Bird
Speaking
getting
of,
bullied.
like,
Bird get
one
bullied.
one thing I really like about Future Predator is, like, in a lesser series, they would have had to, like, curb stomp the Gorgonopsid and even the Columbian Mammoth, but it
Oh, the-
doesn't in this series.
The Columbian
Oh,
Mammoth
yeah. Should we
one-shots
talk
it.
about
Yeah.
Should we talk about one of the best creature fights in media?
The Gorgonopsid...
Yeah,
And I will stand by that.
Is the Future Predator is so... One, it's an
It
oversized
is so
Gorgonopsid.
good.
But in that world, it is pure power versus speed. That's what that fight
And-
is.
Yeah.
And
and-
power wins, which it should.
Like, it gets punted into oblivion in round 1, and then, even though it pokes its eye out and gets some scars in, it fares even worse in round 2. It gets
Yeah.
crushed.
It
And
also...
unlike a lot of creature fights, it has a valid reason to fight the much larger creature.
It's also
Which
valid
is,
to
it's
be
a
that
desperate
aggressive.
mother.
Yeah.
It's a desperate mother and goes apeshit, which
Yeah.
that happens.
Or,
We've
Hey,
talked about
and-
how
I
bad
mean,
the
just,
good hurts.
Insert video of a cat attacking and chasing off a bear
Yeah.
to
Now,
protect its kittens.
you could say the Future Predator went batshit on the Gorgonopsid.
I thought we were going to go this entire set recording session without a single bat pun. Ugh. But yes, no, it's in a lesser series, what they would have done, actually, a lesser series, aka Primeval Season 4, would have done the future predators just go after it because they're monstrous murder machines. But no,
Yeah.
the future predator 1, it's not shown to be bullet resistant. It's shown to be able to react to bullet fire, but that's because it reacts to the sound of the bullet fire. It still gets hit sometimes, but it reacts to the sound. It's also shown, I think, in the aquarium scene, if you just stand still, it can and be calm. You're basically invisible because it's actually blind. Its echolocation has gone to an extent of hearing heartbeats slightly, but it's the ambient noise of the world. As long as you're not running, you can basically become invisible to it. Again, it versus Gorgonopsid. You can
Also,
see
sorry,
how
this
desperate
T-Rex
it is.
died just looking like a retro piece of art.
Yeah, it did actually. Yeah, as Doc said, in the fight you see how desperate that is. The Gorgonopsid isn't actually really fighting it until, like, most time it's just trying to throw it away. It's not. Only in round 2 does the Gorgonopsid really start hammering in on it. But when it bites it and shakes it like a doll toy or stuff. The first round, the Gorgonopsid's only trying to get it off it. It doesn't want to fight it. But the future predator's going, because I think like the scene before it is the Gorgonopsid literally eating its babies, screaming
alive.
out of a box.
It is.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Also,
But
it has the
realistic.
Primeval has the best Gorgonopsid design. I will not apologize.
And we'll have to discuss that.
The Walking with Monsters one is amazing.
That one's good too.
I don't know which I would say is better.
I say
think they're
with
both
Monsters.
amazing.
We'll actually talk to that when we get to reviewing Walking with Monsters, probably. Because,
Oh, and actually, there's a... I forget which mod series did it, but there's a mod for Ark that adds Innostransavia.
Yes.
And it's actually a really good Innostransavia.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, when we say Gorgonopsid, we normally mean Innostransavia. That's what it is.
Oh, it's an additional creature.
Oh, perfect.
Now, for alongside the future predator, if you were a early 2000s kid and you were getting into speculative evolution, you might know a series called The Future is Wild.
Or if you're weird like me and watch Discovery Kids and watch the animated version first.
Oh my god. I watched both. So I love that show. Like, I love Discovery Kids. I miss it. That was like my jam. That was my shit back in like second, third grade.
I was in elementary. I was barely in kindergarten.
Oh yeah, I'm the oldest of us. So
I'm the baby of the group. I recently discovered
I'm the grandpa.
Alcohol.
Now, in the 5 million AD section of The Future is Wild, there is a species of giant carnivorous bat called the Death Gleaner. And in it, it has a wingspan of about 1.3 meters and a weight of about almost 600 grams. It is the largest known carnivorous bat in history, with only some human-era fruit bats, like megabats, being bigger. And it is actually pretty terrifying. If you know it, you'll also know, like, those cute little burrowing birds, the sphinx, which are just adorable. Like imagine going, like, out of your burrow and you see this gigantic flying death monster just swoop in and try and just take you and eat you alive. That is just... that'd be terrifying.
One more thing that Gojira and I were talking about, because we were talking about this, recording this episode actually this Saturday before we recorded the recording is happening, and we talked about The Future is Wild. Well, great. Science is a bit off.
Especially it's a bit wonky.
Especially with the idea that mammals go extinct pretty much after humans do, which no, mammals wouldn't.
No.
At all.
And Same thing with the Death Gleaners, in that competition from birds of prey, like vultures, it would be too great for bats to get any sort of headway as diurnal mega
Yeah.
like flying predators. Like hell, it's because birds of prey were so successful and they were killing all the bats that they evolved to be nocturnal.
Yeah.
So
Nighthawks.
yeah, Nighthawks. And it is just so yeah, as cool as the Death Gleaner is, the evolution and the idea of it is kind of suspect.
It has the vampire bat teeth. Vampire bat have 2 buck teeth that allows them to scrape open a wound. It has it.
Yep.
It's where they get their Desmodus name from.
Also, if you guys want to look, I sent in the Discord the Inostransavia from that mod. I forgot, to tame it, you have to sacrifice babies.
That's a
That's
reference.
probably a reference.
That's definitely a reference. Alright, well, how do we want to rank this? Because I have a theory. I want to rank this X tier.
Is anyone not giving an S tier?
Well, I want to give it X tier, a higher than S. Extreme tier.
Okay,
The
we're
most
not a 2000s kids
extreme.
show.
I don't
It
care.
can't be
Yes,
X.
we are. I don't
The most
care.
extreme.
No.
Wouldn't X be more 90s? Wouldn't that be more 90s?
I grew up with the most extreme, so.
Oh yeah, the most
90s
extreme. That
and
is
2000s.
Oh yes.
Yeah. When it,
You have to convert to my childhood of Animal
Like,
It
Planet.
was my
I convert-
childhood too.
Exactly. Haha, you can't
it's
stop
my childhood
it now.
too. Like the most extreme crocodile hunter, animal face-off.
Yes.
I love that shit.
Agreed. So yeah, I say this goes higher than S. Do we have anything to say bad about this?
No.
No.
Yeah. Haha, I win. This is my
Can it
plan
be-
all along.
Can it here? Proposal. Extra tier.
I'm fine with that. For the
Because
extra
it's
effort.
an extra tier above, it's extra special, and I extra want it as a pet.
It's also an extra effort in it.
Yes.
Yeah, that works too.
It keeps deleting my PNG for this. Why do you keep doing that? It keeps deleting my Okay.
Is there an art creature that feels as alive as this?
No. Androsarchus. But it's also the creature from the same time.
Maybe.
Actually, I have my thing ready, and I got the picture ready.
Okay. Swapping over to you now.
Okay. So, everyone. By the way, there it goes. Extra tier.
Oh dear.
So, everyone. Yeah, I agree with that completely.
Yep. When it comes to giant bats, Desmodus really is the most extreme. Yeah.
Why do I love and hate that?
Oh, it's perfect.
Like,
What do you mean?
how
It
dare
is
you?
like
Well, I saved this tier list quickly so that I
Yeah.
can load it.
2000s Animal Planet is the best Animal Planet.
It's good for sure.
Why would I
So
load
let me
this?
make sure that Desmodus is not on. Okay, yep, nope.
Alright. Who are we
Alright,
thinking?
I'm gonna give it a few shuffles. I really want a good dinosaur.
So do I. I want Giganotosaurus.
Ooh, sorry, I just saw Archaeopteryx over here. Archaeopteryx would be amazing.
For some reason, by the way, when I tried to save this tier list with Desmodus on it, it doesn't work.
Ah,
So I may have to remake the entire Ark tier list, and have all the image be custom put in, just so it doesn't do this.
Damn.
I'll try one
also,
more time.
you know, I just kind of realized for Ark being the dino game, There's not as many dinos in it as I thought.
There is not. It needs more
Um,
dinos.
So give me
Yeah.
2 seconds before you spin the wheel while I try to get this sorted. If not, everyone, next episode, you may see a tier list that looks different. Because I may have to remake the tier list.
Shall we give it a spin?
We shall.
Right, 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Man,
Come on, give us a good dinosaur. Please.
that's you asked for. Oh,
A globe.
wait.
A globe bug.
Does Glowbug mean the glow pets?
It means the glow pets.
Yes. Yes.
What? What?
Yes. So everyone.
Let me dig.
Okay.
All right.
Well, everybody,
bug.
next episode, we're going to be talking about some rather glittery critters.
Yeah, because the globe bug is the only one that can't be tamed about it. But we have decided to, early on, we decided to combine all of the glow pets into one episode because I don't want to talk about bioluminescence 5 times in a row. So, ta-da! Also,
Yeah.
So let's see, glowbug, bulbdog, glowtail,
Shinehorn,
the shinehorn, and what's the bird one?
Featherlight.
Featherlight, which might be my personal favorite.
I like Shinehorn.
You know, this next episode might be very enlightening.
Have a good
Anyway.
night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Good night.
I have to remake the entire tier list.